thing he showed me the other day, and I started bawling because I was thinking about my experience, and I was like, I could have just got out of the hospital and they would have did this to me. So this dude, he's on a cane. He had a black plate in his back from accident a long time ago. And he was having a feud with this other family, but he put his feud aside because her son was in a motorcycle accident. So she had to call him because she know he had a truck and said, I know you can't lift a motorcycle. He said, but she said, but could you bring your truck and carry the motorcycle away from the accident? And so he put their issues aside to go and help this lady. He gets there, the police ask him to move his truck. He says no problem, so he moves his truck. This guy's on a cane now.
Okay.
So they ask him what happened. He says, I don't know, I didn't see it. I just came to move the motorcycle for the lady. And they said, okay, well, could we get you to write that down in the statement? Well, he thought that was odd. This sounded like such a black incident to me, but he was white.
Okay.
But he was driving a truck. You know, they treat truck drivers just like niggas. So, so he said, okay, he'll write that down. But because he was curious, he's like, you know, a smart black person would be like, that don't sound right. Why they want me to sign it? So they asked him to sign it. And he wouldn't sign it because it didn't sound right that they would even want that statement. He could see if he saw the accident and they wanted him to say it. Right, exactly. So he's like, well, he wouldn't sign it. Earl, don't you know, they grabbed the man's cane and wrestled him to, now he can't lift his hand over his shoulder. And they wrestled him and they put the cuffs behind him. And then they threw him in the back seat for obstruction and took him down to the station. Now he was asking the police to slow down because he already, like, you know, can't, because his hands are tied together with this plastic handcuff thing. And his back is killing him. And when he gets to the place, they wrestle him up against the, told him to put his hands against the wall. He can't lift his head above his shoulders. So one of the officers grabs his arm and yanks it up, and he screams in pain, at which point they get even more aggressive. Now they done already took the man's cane and threw it on the ground to begin with. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, I could just see them doing that to me. Even if, you know, I just having flashbacks of me just getting out of the hospital. And I was reading this, and I was just, I was getting so infuriated. And it just makes you, I mean, it makes you really compassionate towards, and you shouldn't be, nobody should take nobody's life, but it was for that moment making me compassionate for cop killers. I had compassion for cop killers. The Henry Louis Gates incident.
So this the guy that sued? You say he sued him?
No, this is different. The guy that sued, there was these two white ladies in minivans, and they were like cutting him off and stuff on this road. And so then they called the cops on him like he doing something. He just trying to get to, I don't know, to work or something or whatever. And so the police came, and of course they took his word. That was a different incident. That was a traffic incident, but he was suing them for $600,000 or something. I still have that article too, but they're just terrible. They're terrible. I know, cause then when it's all said and done, and even if you prove that they were wrong and did wrong, then what though?
On the wrist. You remember that cop that beat that chick up in the club?
I call it paid vacation.
Remember that chick? He beat that cop.
I do remember, and the bartender. I know.
The girl won't serve him no more drinks.
I know.
And they had him on video kicking her and beating her.
I know.
To death.
I know.
He ended up getting like probation.
I know.
What kind of crap is that?
I know.
That's freaking insane.
You know what I say. And you know what? It would have still went bad. I say she should have kicked his ass because he was drunk enough to where she could have kicked his ass.
No, she couldn't have kicked his ass because he had the cops and friends there. They would intervene. He wasn't alone.
That's terrible.
You know what I'm saying? So if she would have gotten kicking his ass, the other three or four cops would have jumped in, they would have probably beat her half to death. If not,
I didn't know it was some more cops there.
There was more cops there, yeah. Because they falsified statements. And they all lied.
Don't get me started on no racist shit, man.
You know, and then
but that's why you can't defend stuff like the game. Because when you do play the race card, it needs to be legitimate. It needs to be legitimate. Don't just be hollering it to be hollering it. But when it's legitimate, then damn it, you guys should be penalized. You should be penalized. If Dr. Gates was my uncle,
And they're gonna both all have been at the White House together. That's crazy. That's really just insane.
and I'm not sure that if it was me, that if he invited us both to the White House, that I would go. I wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go.
I would
if
go.
you invited me in that White House, I wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go.
I would not go.
You invite me. If you invite both of us, he ain't go. Even if you invite me and him later, if it's under those pretenses, if we both going based on this whole situation, he should not be going to that White House.
Well, I know if it was me, I wouldn't go. I would not go and sit down and break bread with
Right,
that guy.
right.
And you know he done lied.
And to me, and don't get me started on him using the basically. I had commented to somebody. I was like, every time he used the excuse when he talk about he used to be like he used to be able to sensitivity training, and then he go back and get his little black friends to vouch for him. I'm like, you know what that sound like to me? I'm not racist. I got black friends. That's what that sound like to me.
That's insane. That's insane.
I can't be racist. I have friends who are black.
With your neighborhood insurance rates, stop